Hello. Round 13 of the Formula 122 Championship. The Hungarian Grand Prix is about to get underway. Well, the weekend at least. The race itself, at least 2, if not 3 hours away yet. Off the back of 4 race wins in a row, there is not much time left before, in the virtual world of this F122 season, not much time before the summer break kicks in, right? And even though we've done more than half of the races, this is seen as the halfway point of the season, right? They have the summer break, they come back in August, and then it gets a little bit wild. More globe-trotting, more challenges, more sweaty races, I expect. But those of you who were with me last weekend would have observed that after starting the season with the AI setting set to 65, we dropped it down to 55. The last race weekend we pushed it to 59. Today it's going to 61. Just the other side of that threshold between medium and hard, right? Is there anything in the item shop? Let's do that first. I do like to take a little peek in the item shop. No stupid sound clips for us this time around, which is a bit unfortunate. Fake logo. That stuff. You know, you can decorate the inside of the Halo. Screw that, man. Bisexual race gloves. Very nice. Ghost of Christmas. No thanks. Oh, that's like full-on Krampus. Actually, that's kind of cool. Look at that. Very fancy. 2,000 Bitcoin apiece. I'm not much for the rest of it. But the novelty helmet is kind of fun. Screw it, I'll get it. Why not? There we go. Always worth a look in the shop. You never know. There could be something. That's fine. We'll leave that there. Round 13, then let's make our way over to team headquarters and remind ourselves where everything is for the weekend to come. Here we go, 6th in the drivers' standings. This is home. This is where I should belong. As the second Mercedes driver, I need to be up there with the drivers of those top 3 teams, Red Bull, Ferrari and Mercedes. So after a very difficult start to the season, I'm now starting to make myself at home. You will notice that Sergio Perez is 7th. That's because Lando Norris has had a very good season so far, and he finds himself further up the pecking order. I think he's 5th. So, and he's not too far away, actually. I could catch up with him in the next race or 2, depending on how I perform. So that's very exciting. But to Team HQ first. I should drink my tea while it's hot. You can tell it's hot because the mug is purple and not black. Average speed or drift? Okay, no problem. We'll turn to that in a moment. Just very quickly, let's remind ourselves where things are in terms of our research and development. We're closing in quite nicely, performance-wise, to the Red Bull and the Ferrari there. You can also, by the way, at the bottom of that chart, see my finishing positions. 14th, 10th, 19th, a DNF. 10th, 7th, that was nice. 19th, horrific. 9th, kind of acceptable. And then first, and first. The research and development in progress. A lot of this stuff will be delivered during the summer break. We've got 1 durability item, 2 powertrain items, 1 aero, and 1 chassis item. If these all come through, and they come through first time, the second half of the season could be an absolute barn burner. You can see the vehicle performance comparison bar chart there on the right-hand side. Shows you that little magenta area. That's where we will end up if everything is successful, which would put us ahead of Ferrari and Red Bull. That would be exciting. Now, folks, let's bear witness. That's it. 61. That's also, I've just baked that into the chat command there as well. Accidentally just closed a window. That's my mod screen. I need it. Come back. There we go. Thank goodness for that. Trying to run a stream here. Anyway, there we go. So we have moved from... Let me show you. If towards the right-hand side of the screen, there it says AI difficulty, and then it says hard. Look, 59. That's a medium. 61. That puts us into hard territory, folks. Let's see if by moving up the AI difficulty by 2 points, we have a similar weekend to the last few, or something dramatic changes, and I have a nightmare. It'll be interesting to find out. That's your 61 baked in there. That's how we will be playing for the rest of today, maybe the rest of the season. Maybe we'll push it up further. We'll see how we get on. But Pirelli Hot Lap is coming up. Average speed zone or drift? I fancy average speed zone. So let's freaking go. Let's get stuck in. It'll be a long evening, so let's not fool about. Hey, the weather's nice. I'll take that. Yeah. Here we go. We're in the McLaren Artura. Average speed. Take on a challenging section of the circuit in which the average speed is measured. The best speed over 3 attempts is the final result, but be careful not to leave the circuit, as that will invalidate the round. Got to keep it in between those white lines. Keep it off the curbs, folks. And it will be the average speed over the 3 rounds. If I can get higher than 74 miles an hour, that'll be a bronze. And 250 driver acclaim points, which are good, because it means teams think I'm better at driving. Over 78 miles an hour, that'll be a silver. Over 81, that's going to give us gold. Now, I can't quite tell what part of the circuit we're on. So that's going to be very interesting to find out. But at least there are 3 rounds, right? So that'll help. Right. Let's get myself into driving position then. And, well, give it my best. Here we go. Oh, it's turn 3 we've joined, so that's that round invalidated. Straight away. Same spot? Okay, here we go. No pressure. It's got some very, very tricky chicane coming up here. I absolutely hate this in F1, so trying to do it in a sports car. That's 78, so we're in silver territory there. But this is now only 2 rounds instead of 3. And this is average over all of them, so there's no chance of me getting a gold here. I'll happily walk away with a silver. Whoa, just about kept the wheels on. And I'm off. No! Ah! I hate this! Ooh. So that's just under, isn't it? Just under. So that's silver. Do you know what? I think I'm going to do it again. I've changed my mind. I sense I could do better. I sense I could do better. Let's give it a shot. Bam! Straight in. No mucking around. Let's freaking go. Let's chase down that gold. Oh, it just stays on. My word. Okay. Just under 80. Bit scrappy. I could have kept the average speed up if I didn't get so close to falling off the track, right? So some concentrating to do in that regard. That's better. We've carried more pace through there. Oh, we've kept it above 81. That's better. But this is the average over all 3, so... Let's see. I think it's the average over all 3, as opposed to just 3 attempts at it. Come on. Oh, 80. But it is gold. That was worth it. Get in. Gold, folks. Oh, so it takes the highest of the three. Okay, that's fine. In that case, I'm good. Round 2. 81.63. Look at that. 79.61 and 79.94. Comfortably silver. But just managed to get it all hooked up in round 2. That's 1,000 driver claim points. And also, super heroic. We won the double music there in the background. Big mood. Ah, lovely. Those driver acclaim points that I won there, look at that. Right at the top of level 11, about to break into level 12. Buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. Anyway, here we go. It's the race weekend. We'll find out what the weather is and everything once we actually get there. I'm hoping that maybe we'll have something lovely and warm and sunny all the way through and we won't have interchangeable madness. But we'll get to the workstation and then we'll find out. More tea, I think. Oh, you had your COVID booster yesterday, didn't you, Amber Swan? Yes, lovely heavy dead arm. Well worth it, though. As long as you're not sleeping on it. Oh, folks. Chat, look at this. My goodness. It looks like we're going to fall into exactly the same situation we had in France last weekend. All the practice sessions and qualifying are warm, dry and sunny. But will you look at the race? Now, if it works out exactly the same as the French Grand Prix, that means we start off bright, sunny, warm, delightful, and then in the last 5 laps or so, the weather turns. Could it be exactly the same? Or do we have something more challenging? Do we start dry and it rains in the middle and then stops raining and the track starts drying out again towards the end? Because that would be the most punishing of all scenarios we could find ourselves in. That one would really hurt, I think. I'm kind of hoping it doesn't happen. Let's check the messages. The usual preview from Francisco, thank you very much. Ah. Would you look at that? It's a largely wet race. Qualifying looks good, says Mark, but there's a strong threat of rain during the race. Have a think about whether you want to make any setup changes to prepare for that. Bearing in mind we will be in Parc Ferme after we leave the garage to qualify. Mixed conditions on track. So we will be running on full wets. I wonder whether we even get onto dry tyres in that race. Whether we find ourselves running on full wets for almost 3/4 of the race duration. And maybe swap out onto inters as the track starts to kind of, I wouldn't say dry out, but the standing water and stuff starts to clear away. Maybe that. That's a tricky one. It's going to be interesting to see how we cope. Here's how things are going, by the way, in the rivalry with Sergio Perez. I'm wiping the floor with him. 23 points to 9, the first to 30, or whoever is ahead after the next 2 races are done. Now, strategizing with components. There was a reasonable chunk of the practice sessions which were done on older components, and then towards the end of it and for qualifying in the race we moved over to the newest ones. So I think with the gearbox in particular we can go straight back to gearbox 3 and use that as our practice gearbox. Our control electronics are hunky-dory right now. I would say, looking at that turbo, its end of life, 88%. It's done 465 laps there. Look at that, MGUH 87. MGK 70. It's done a lot of laps though, hasn't it? We could go back to it. And then the ICE itself, that would see us through practice 1, but I'd want to swap it out afterwards. I wouldn't touch the MGUH. Things like Energy Store and MGUK I could for practice 1, but then I end up with a situation where a lot of the powertrain is a bit sick. At least in session I could try it, and if it didn't work out too well I could revert. But it's all about trying to just, in those early practice sessions, just drag out the life of older components to delay adding additional components beyond the allocation that we're set. Because, as I've explained before, then we start getting penalties, grid penalties. Depends if I want to go down the route of chasing more race wins and more points, or whether I'm prepared, and I'll see how this works out, whether I'm prepared to use a race like this to take a hit, to take a penalty. Bringing in one of these components, you know. Like, I would say, considering the state of the MGUH, you might want to bring a 4th in strategically, and maybe an ICE as well. 2 of those and you're at the back of the grid. Look at that vehicle comparison chart there. It's so it's so enticing to see how we could advance if only these upgrades were in place already. We will have to wait for those. So, we're putting some slightly older components into the powertrain, which I hope will see us at least through practice 1. Okay, we could see some complications in practice 1, but if we're spending most of that time just getting used to the circuit and sorting the setup of the car and everything like that, then maybe it won't be so bad. Right. There's a couple of things I hadn't quite prepared, which I want to prepare. If I bring up the prediction box for later, that will be good. If I do that now, then I don't have to worry about it later on. Something, 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 something. I don't think that's what I wanted to look for. I think it was that one. Cool. Right, I've got everything where I need it to be. Excellent. No more farting about. Let's get to track. Take care of practice 1. And a whole bunch. Wow. Everything here, development boost-wise, is durability. I think that gives us a bit of an indication of what we need to be thinking about for the second half of the season, does it not? Bum, 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 bum. Oof.
The session has drawn to a close, so let's review our top 3. Hamilton, Norris and Sergio Perez. Sadly, it's time to say goodbye as free practice
So
is
sad.
over. However, we'll be back shortly for more Formula One action.
Yeah. Track acclimatization, 2 attempts at that. 1 time on the mediums, 1 time on the soft tyres. Very difficult to get full marks. There are definitely parts in Sector 2 that I'm really struggling with. And quite far off the pace, specifically in Sector 2. So there's a bit of hunting down the right car setup and the right racing line. But I also think, as I was trying to get some extra laps in and push a little bit harder, that actually maybe running on some of the older components was also costing me time. So when I'm trying to hunt down something that's more representative, I'm not helping myself by having an MG UK, an ICE, an energy store that's not at its best. So those will be changed out in time for practice 2, and we'll see if I can get any closer. You'll see that I'm nowhere near the top 14 here on the timing sheet. Earlier on in the session, it didn't seem too bad with the times that I did have, but everyone else started to improve, of course. My teammate there, Lewis Hamilton, the fastest on the soft tyres, a 119.9. I'm a long way back. There I am. 17th fastest, a 121.7, 1.8 seconds behind my teammate. Now, I was on the medium tyres and he was running on the softs, but then there are plenty of other soft shod drivers that did a better job. Max Verstappen, 120.4, and Carlos Sainz, a 120.6, and I'm a second off them. More than that, in fact. Only 3 cars slower, and 2 of them were running on hard tyres. So yes, not great. But there's still 2 practice sessions to go. So plenty of opportunity to tighten up my act and find a little bit more speed. Not much really for us to look at here. Those are getting sorted. So let's just move on to the next session. As easy as that. As this, as that. Bit more focus on tyre management and race strategy. I'll probably run with tyre management first. Get the best out of the tyres, you know. Let's go.
And with all the cars now over the line, let's see our top three again. Verstappen, Hamilton and Sergio Perez. What an incredible practice session. Fun doesn't stop here though. Join us again as the rest of the weekend unfolds.
Time management practice program, done. Race strategy practice program, done. Good enough. But with about 20 minutes or so in the session left, I decided to fit the newer components. So I'm back to kind of race trim at the moment. So there wasn't an opportunity to. I mean, I'd used soft tyres; they were kind of baked anyway. There was no way I could improve my time later on in the session. So I was around about 5th fastest, but in those last 20 minutes, other drivers decided to flip in be better, because of course they would. Max Verstappen, in fact, a 1:19.5, beating my teammate Lewis Hamilton, who had been topping the timing sheets for most of that session. Quite concerningly, Sergio Perez, who is my current rival and someone who I should be beating at all costs, set a 1:19.9. And there I am on a 1:20.6, which is 1.1 seconds better than I had done in practice 1, but even still is not really where I would like to be. You know, top 6 is what I'm aiming for. But as I said in this session, I think this is a bogey circuit. There's just something about that Sector 2 that I cannot connect with. And this was another case in point. Ho-hum. Practice 3 is coming up, though. My messages here for me. But there's not really much to consider. Ay. The messages. Those items are pending fitting. They'll be ready to go as we begin the next session. Think Perez is going to catch up a little bit here. I mean, I've got quite the lead, but he'll be catching up points wise here. So the third and final practice session coming up, then qualifying, and then the race, which, as we know, is going to start out very wet indeed. So this practice session coming up is all about just turning it up, seeing how fast I can go. I'm worried, but the only way out is through. So here we go. Unlikely I will be running any more practice sessions, practice programs, that is, sorry, in this session. But maybe I'll change my mind, we'll see. Ooh, I got a glove. Yay.
It's time to remind ourselves of our top three, who are Norris, Hamilton and Daniel Ricciardo. And if today's practice session is anything to go by, we're in for an exceptional weekend of Formula One.
Not really. Lando Norris in the McLaren 119.0. How did he do it? By having an excellent Sector 2. Lewis Hamilton, the only one who could get close with the 119.2, and then a massive gap. Just a huge gap. 7/10. Back to Daniel Ricciardo, third fastest, a 119.9. Charles Leclerc, 5 thousandths of a second behind that with a 119.91. And then Carlos Sainz, another 5 thousandths of a second behind that. Very close between positions 3 and 5 on the timing sheets there. Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. The fastest of the two Red Bulls with a 120.0. But my weakness in Sector 2 continues, contributing to my 120.776, the 9th fastest time set in Practice 3. I ended up having only one shot at a hot lap, and that was my 120.7 time, which was slower than the 120.6 I did in Practice 2. And that's kind of it, right? There's not much else I can say about that apart from let's get it over and done with and move forward to qualifying. There are the points. Here are the boosts supplied. Let's look at those juicy discounts. MGU-H and ICE in particular are going to be very important for us. Chunky discount there on the ICE reliability testing. And we've made it into driver claim level 12. Back to the workstation. I can't wait to represent myself as a manager because I just don't feel like I'm getting the service. However, Mark says this about Hungaroring. You're going to have to find a rhythm here and fairly quickly. Oh dear, never mind, eh? There are a bunch of little squirts. I mean, that's very ableist of you, Mark. Oh, I see. On the throttle here and there. I see what you mean now. But there's only ever a single line. Yes, I know that. Don't try anything clever because it won't work. Take extra special care at turn 4. It's almost completely blind. The last corner is long. You're going to be desperate to get on the throttle early, but you have to wait. If you run wide, you'll be suffering all the way down the main straight. All of this is true. But it's not going to magically make me better at driving on this circuit. I will still have the same problems. So we find ourselves with everything on its freshest component right now, bearing in mind that I may still decide to bring in a 4th MGU-H and a 4th ICE if I suck in qualifying. If I'm not in a sniff of decent points, then we'll take the hit. We'll just take the hit on the penalties, because having extra components in the rotation will be better for us. Not much else for us to do. Hello, Nick, by the way. Is managing yourself actually an option? In real life Formula 1, yes. In this game, no. There's just a fake manager who sends you very curt emails and doesn't even have the decency to add an avatar to their account. Anyhow, let's push on to qualifying and have everything crossed. I'll get the gamble ready for you as well. Let's go. Well, here we are. Lovely weather for it. Just a reminder that the race will be wet. I could choose to qualify on medium tyres if I wanted to. That's insane. Everything's here and ready to go. Okay, so qualifying. We've been through practice sessions. We have seen where my weak points are. It's time to place that bet. Knowing what we know, seeing where I've been on the timing sheets, pull your engagements out of your wallet, folks, because here comes a 2-minute prediction. Here in Hungary, where will I qualify? Will there be some miraculous turn of fortune and I will find myself in the top 6? Will I end up in the other parts of the top 10? Somewhere between P7 and P10? Or between 11 and 15, or between 16 and 20? Just under a minute and a half left to go. Someone's thrown some engagements there in on 7 to 10. Could well be where we end up. Unlike in the practice sessions where I kind of turn the energy deployment setting up to hot lap, in this I think there's like an engine mode as well as the ERS setting, so it tends to be faster in this by a few tenths than it is, when I'm doing practice. But let's see what happens. Less than 30 seconds left. Nick has just gone in absolutely huge on a top 6 qualifying position. I mean, get ready to throw those engagements goodbye. And Gilly Fam has put 1,000 in on 7 to 10. Well, let's see what happens, shall we? Eyes down for a full house, etc. Now, remember, I don't use flashbacks in qualifying, but if something really bad happens, I'll restart the entire lap. The aim is that I will complete a lap, and that will be my qualifying lap. Those are my rules, and I'm sticking to them. Thank you very much. Let's go to track. It's going to be sector 2 where I lose it. That's where it's going to happen. From here. I had that same issue with the curb where the floor got caught on the ridge of the curb. There's no way back from that. Yeah, absolute state of it. Whoa! I got right close to the end of the lap and absolutely slaughtered myself. All right, let's make this the last attempt. Come on. Got a race to do still. I hate it. I can't. I just absolutely stuff it every single time. All right, fourth attempt. Flipping heck, man. Let's go. Come on. Just stuff that. Cut the corner. This is where it all goes to pot. A bit wide there, flipping heck. I don't know where I am.
Excellent lap. We're very pleased with that.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three: Dip, Hamilton and Carlos Sainz. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
I don't understand it. How did I get pole?
Don't worry about that.
I'm trying not to. How can I make screw ups in 3 attempts? 2 of them specifically in my weak point, sector 2. And then on the 4th attempt, somehow not only put in the fastest lap I've done all weekend, but put in the fastest lap of anyone. I'll be honest, it feels a bit dishonest to end up with that result after the weekend I've had, right? That does meet the rule. One clean lap from beginning to end, right? The 3 before then, not clean, restarted it. That one, clean. I did cut a corner, but I think I got away with it. I don't... It feels a bit like cheating, but I'm going to take it. This puts me in an interesting situation. I don't think I'm winning this race, by the way. I think once the rain starts falling and I have to do that sector 2, lap on lap on lap on lap, we're not going to see such successes. However, no one's noticed. I think I got away with it. A 1:18.150. My fastest lap before this, a 1:20.6. Somehow, in qualifying trim, 2.5 seconds faster. What? Lewis Hamilton, my teammate, 0.3 behind, 1:18.434. Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen make up row 2. Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez make up row 3. The top 6 drivers, the top 3 teams, have taken the top 6. And in terms of the prediction, of course, where will I qualify? Well, it was pole, but that does count as positions 1 to 6. I did qualify in the top 6. So hope springs eternal, says Nick Sight, and well, what do you know? Actually paid off. Sergio Perez then, I beat him in qualifying. That's all that matters. Yeah, I can't quite believe that happened, folks, but, well, some really difficult decisions have to be made next. That's me beating Perez. Delicious extra boost to driver acclaim there for the pole position. There we go. Oh, jeez. So, this is where things get interesting. I mean, not just because we're about to have a race, but also because we know we're going to have difficult weather conditions coming up. As you can see, here's the pre-race email from Mark. We'll be monitoring the data closely from the pit, ask questions, all that stuff. Good luck, have fun. It's a wet race. It's going to be full wet tyres for, I would say, close to 3/4 of this race. And it will be a gamble on the crossover point on coming in and switching over to intermediates. I don't think we quite make it onto dry tyres in this race. But here's the decision, right? I am starting on pole position. I guarantee you I will not finish first. I will struggle to maintain the lead, and I confidently predict that I will be overtaken by several cars in Sector 2. Now, by starting first, the only way I can go is back. But starting first and losing, let's say, 6 positions is better than starting 10th and losing 6 positions, right? I will, let's say, for example, I lose out to my teammate and the Ferraris and the Red Bulls. Then I finish 6th. There's a chance that the McLarens and maybe the Alpines get involved as well. Maybe Norris, maybe Alonso overtake me. Then I'm 8th. There's also the risk of pitting and getting that call right. If you get that call right, you could actually gain a position or 2 back. You don't know. You could be lucky. But if you get that call wrong, you could fall even further back. But I've been talking a lot about just making this a bogey race. And bringing in extra components. Here's the argument once again, right? You have an allocation of 3 for the season. Of the ICE, the MGUK, the MGUH, and the turbocharger. For the energy store and the control electronics, that's 2. For the gearbox, that's 4. Each additional one you add will be a penalty, which is basically dropping you further back in on the grid. The turbocharger, still relatively healthy. Can't use the old ones. The MGUH, again, pretty healthy. You wouldn't use those 2. The ICE, I did trundle around in practice 1 on ICE 2. Now we're running ICE 3 already. So what would I rather do? Would I rather take these penalties now in a situation where I feel confident that I will not perform well? Or do I throw caution to the wind and or rain and start on pole and see what happens? I know what would be more entertaining. But thinking about the season as a whole, that's the thing. Now, I don't know how many of you are paying attention. But I'll run a quick poll, a 1-minute poll, so you have to be alive and ready for this. Okay. 1 minute. Poll incoming. I'll even do the thing. There it is. 1 minute. Let's go. What is... I'll take this as an advisory. I may still make up my own mind here. I guarantee you, if I start from the front, I will drop back. But if I take the hit and change the bits, I'll be a lot further back, and it could well be a race on my own. But if I take the hit and change the bits here, I don't have to do it later at a race where I might have a better shot of winning. Right, start from the front, 2 people say. That's a 100%. I think I'm gonna... You know what? I think I'm gonna have to disappoint you. I'm sad to say it, but I think my rationale beats whatever wild and crazy dream you have for this race that's coming up. Is that penalty warning? Competitors are prohibited from making modifications to the car whilst in parc fermé. Applying this component now will result in a penalty of starting from the back of the grid. So from first to last. That is kind of huge. And I'd be doing that twice. But you can only go as far back as the back of the grid, so it's okay. Oh my god, this is so frustrating. Because if I start at the back, it's a nothing race. It's a nothing race. Maybe I get to overtake some slower cars. Maybe I'm lucky. There'll be no points at all. That would mean Sergio Perez would outscore me. Lando Norris would increase his gap. If I finish 8th, for example, that's 2 points. Just 2. The glory points up near the top. $25 for a race win, 18 for second. Oh, this is so hard. I think my argument stands, though. I think my argument stands. I'm committing to it. We're starting from the back of the grid. We're taking the big penalties. We're starting from the back of the grid. Getting those extra components in, ready for the races that will come up after the summer break. Taking the hit now, so we don't take it later. It's a gamble. Insofar as the races that are coming up in the future will hold more hope. But I'm prepared to burn today's pole position in the hope for some quite literally brighter days ahead. And with that, let's start the race. Or, you know, the pre-race. Eventually. I mean, just take your time.
It's race day in Budapest as we get ready for another round of Formula One action. Don't expect too many retirements at this circuit. There are plenty of current and former drivers with flawless finish rates here. In particular, Ralf Schumacher, who made it across the line in all 10 of his Hungarian Grand Prix starts. The Hungaroring, it's like Monaco without the boats. Although the boats today could come in very handy. 14 corners, 6 to the left and 8 to the right, and some very tricky corners to deal with.
Yep.
These rainy conditions out there aren't going to help either, so it's very likely we'll see a safety car or two during today's race.
Maybe that helps.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for
Oh boy, here we go.
An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position.
That's a lie.
Max Verstappen lines up.
Oh, Lewis is not there. He's Oh.
Leclerc, Perez.
He's done the same.
Lando Norris and Fernando Alonso. Ocon, Ricciardo, Bottas and Mick Schumacher.
This is interesting.
Hamilton, Magnussen, Pierre Gasly and Vettel. Albon, Stroll, Guan Yu Zhou and Yuki Tsunoda. Latifi. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Skip. It's almost time for the lights to go out. So let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And joining me again for the race today, Natalie Pinkham.
Look at the
We
state
talk
of it.
about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within the team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that has definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
That's hopeful. Okay, so interesting that Lewis Hamilton, qualified second, has also taken a grid penalty. And I'll tell you what the difference is between his 10th place and my back of the grid penalty. And that's, I made a very late call to change the components. So this is after qualifying started. And that's where you get automatically put to the back of the grid. Had I made the decision to change those components before qualifying started, then there would have been, I think, maybe a 10-place penalty per component or a 5-place per component. I can't remember. There's something different between gearboxes and other parts, I think. So that's why Lewis dropped 10 and I'm all the way at the back. But it's interesting that the other Mercedes car has decided to also take a hit today. Well, for as much as it's worth, considering that we are in very wet conditions now, let's have a look at the race strategy. There will be no personalised strategy. We've got a long race ahead of us. 35 laps, slower laps, of course, because of the conditions. We're looking at almost an hour of racing today. So the options are a 1 or a 2 stop strat. Now, let's think back to the last race that we had, right? Many of the cars stuck to a one-stop strategy and gambled on going long on the first stint so that when they were due to make a pit stop... no, hang on a minute. Let me think about this. I think I'm wrong here. No, those who did the one-stop... This is it. Those who did the one-stop strategies knew they were going to have to take an additional stop. There we go. So if you baked in a one-stop strategy with the knowledge that you might have to take a second stop, your second half of the race you can be a bit flexible strategy-wise. What Max Verstappen did was went for an alternate strategy, and even the tyres were swapped around strangely as well. So he was doing a 2-stop strat, but on that second stop, he was on a tyre that I think he was on a soft, so that faded pretty quickly, and he got caught out in the rain. So he had made 2 stops and had to make an additional stop. So he made 3 stops in the end and was on the intermediates for the final lap. Had he been on a 1-stop, he wouldn't have had that issue. He would have fallen in line with a lot of the other cars. And that's what I'm kind of thinking about here is like, well, yeah, you could go for an alternate strategy, but these wet tyres will last a long time. So you might as well run on the default. Most people will, I think. You'll have to come in and change the wets at some point. They will not last the entire length of the race. But if you can make that go long, maybe that helps jump a couple of other cars, as long as you're not at a disadvantage in the second half, where you might have to change for the inters. I think this is pretty straightforward, though. It's the default strategy all the way. What else can you do? Which leaves us with the pre-race P, which is needed, and also the prediction for the race results. So, engagement's ready, folks. I will leave you with this bet while I take a break. Hungary. Where will I finish? Here are your options. Will there be an inexplicable race win? Yes, it's an option. It's still there. Will it be positions 2 to 12, positions 13 to 18, or 19 to 20? I start 20th. Place your bets. You've got just under 5 minutes. I'm going to take a very, very well-needed comfort break, and I will be back with you in a few minutes. Well, I'm better, but I'm not sure about this race. So, the prediction's almost done. As a quick recap of how things have gone, practice sessions have exposed a weakness in Sector 2. I managed to get a reasonable amount of development points and development boosts during those sessions, so that helps us with the development of the car. That's all good. I hadn't held up huge hopes for qualifying, and I was already lurching towards the idea that I'm gonna be introducing some additional powertrain components and taking the penalty in this race, knowing that it was going to be a wet race, knowing that my Sector 2 is weak and I'm going to get overtaken. What threw a spanner in the works is I ended up qualifying on pole, 2.5 seconds faster than any time I'd managed to do in practice, which did make things a little bit tough. But I had to keep in mind that even being in the front, if I drop back enough positions, the points I earn are negligible. Maybe 2 points. I had a feeling I'd probably drop from first back to 8th. So even though I was kind of hemming and hawing over whether I would replace those components, I decided in parc fermé conditions, which means you start at the back of the grid, that I would introduce a 4th ICE and a 4th MGU-H. So they'll be brand new in the car now, but really that's kind of a season-long strategy call. I take the hit here. I don't have to take the hit later because I won't need to introduce those components later. They're already part now of the allocation. I've added them in. So this race, I am starting from the back of the grid, despite qualifying on pole. And the predictions, which are now closed, look like this. Gilly Fam, you have been watching, haven't you? He's put 1,000 engagements on me winning the race, despite everything I've just said. The man's got belief. What can I say? 5, it's a magic number, thinks that I could get up somewhere between position 2 and position 12. Nobody went for 13 to 18. Nobody went for 19 to 20. I guess it has been a long day, Gilly Fam, yes. It was all a blur. He didn't know where he was clicking. So, race position. It's going to be a long one. Close to an hour of racing here, and it's already 10 past 9. With 3.5 hours of streaming already in the bag. I can't wait until this is done. Just so I can get some of my Sundays back. Right, so we've got the formation lap in the wet, then the race start, and then the madness truly begins. As always, while I'm driving, it'll be difficult for me to keep an eye on chat. But as and when, I'll have a little sneaky peek over and I'll respond. I promise. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just, you know, there's a lot going on, is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, let's get this formation lap done at least.
Clutch bite is good, gearbox is responding normally. Make sure to warm up the tyres and brakes. Warm the tyres and brakes throughout the lap, please.
It's going to be a long, slow formation lap. Those tyres are already to temperature. We don't want them to cool off too much. There's a lot of standing water. It's very wet. Very wet indeed. I've not done this circuit in the wet in this car. This first lap in particular, it's got to be pretty rough. Can't even make out the curbs very well. Ah! Hello. Just wanted to get out of third gear or something, you know? Yeah, I know. Oh god, parking. I hate parking. There's my grid slot. Oh, half a meter over. I'll never get that right. As hard as I try, I will never get that right. So, from last place on the grid... Hello? I mean, we're all here. What's going on? I'm standing by. I'm still standing, but what's going on? Hello, video game. Has it bugged out? Look at my RPM at the bottom. It's not down at 0. It's just sort of hovering there at the moment. I suppose if it was 0, that would be engine off. What's going on today? Hello? Hello? Oh, someone's been disqualified. What? What's happened? There are cars behind. What's going on? What? What? Leclerc, what? Something very weird happened there. Let's just go. Let's just go. Bit of wheel spin there. That was tricky. I don't know what happened there, but holy hell, video game. Hello! Oh. No first turn heroics, please. This first lap will be just about survival, right? We can think about doing something stupid later on. What I need to do is get a lot closer to Latifi. I can't afford to drop back. Close this gap.
Okay, we've held position on lap 1. That's not great, but it's not terrible. Stay focused.
Mate, have you seen the conditions? Right, that's Latifi dealt with. If I can keep him behind me for the race, that would be a success. Oh, he already wants to pick a fight with me, the douchebag. I'm taking liberties on lap 1. We're up to 18th position, so we have a race at least. We are having to drive a lot slower than we would ordinarily expect. Let's try and burn some of this electrical energy. Hopefully after a small handful of laps, a slight racing line will appear. I really need to avoid making mistakes. They will be very costly. You can see that I am under threat from the cars behind. There's a lot of sliding around on these tyres, by the way. I'm having to do quite a bit of correcting. But position 18, not the worst. Nice easy drive. Let's see if I can get a bit closer to the pack ahead. Turn 1. The gap is increasing behind, which is some kind of comfort. Right. I'd like to close in on that pack ahead, right? That's why... Oh, hello.
You're okay.
It's that sort of a race. It is that sort of a race today. So that would have been on exit of 9. Just there, look. 2 tyres on the very wet curb there. You lose your grip, and off you pop. Let's take it from here. See, Stroll is closing that gap in Sector 2.
More, it's time to utilise some of this energy. Come on.
All right, yes, Dad, fine. So Charles Leclerc obviously leading this race because he's the one setting fastest laps. There is a drier line appearing. I mean, it won't be dry.
Far behind's gaining on you by 0.5 a lap.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully what we will find though is that if I keep largely on the racing line at this point, some 4 laps into the race, the car's not going to slide quite so much. Pick up the pace a little bit, start looking a bit racy. That might make things a little bit harder in Sector 2. Driver in front.
Vettel's ahead of you. Okay, gap to the car ahead is 1.4 seconds. They're on a fresh set of wets. Their tyres are 3 laps old. We think they've got 1 more stop. Time last lap was a 1:37.3. Come on, mate, you're down by 0.8 a lap. What have you got?
Not much. Have you been watching me this weekend? That is the Sector 2 difference, isn't it?
The rain's getting lighter now, but it's going to take a while for the track to dry out.
Okay. Time to get a little bit braver. Very much line astern still. Not line astern. That's side by side, you idiot. You know what I mean. In formation, let's say. Still losing bags of time in Sector 2. I am starting to find that I can push a little harder on the throttle and hold the grip, so I'm building some confidence. Fastest Sector 3 of anybody, closer to Vettel. Spooked him out. I've overtaken him. No. Messed it up that time. Still have him. Okay, 17th. Vettel is a good driver. He will want to try and take my position back. And it'll be in Sector 2 where those problems really start showing up. So I have to be super, super cautious.
The circuit's definitely looking better than it was a few minutes ago. If we can just move a bit more of that standing water, we might be able to go on to the intermediates.
Well, we'll see. Hey, recklessly. Very late on the brakes there. I hope I've made that stick. I'm closing in on Zhou here. I've got a chance of making some more positions here if I can keep my nose clean. Especially at the not if I spin those rear wheels up on the curbs. Here we go. He's going to go defensive. Or is he? Oh, bit of contact there. Whoops-a-daisy. I got a warning for that.
That was a bit borderline there. We're lucky to have gotten away with it.
That was a bit rude. But that's P16. I'm surprised to find myself so so far ahead, to be honest. Maybe these conditions are playing into my hands a little bit, but I am dicing with drivers that I don't normally find myself fighting with. Don't drive on the grass.
If you think you can get past, make use of the overtake button and see what you can do.
Oh, thanks for dropping in recklessly. That's no problem. Whether it's for the whole stream or just for a couple of minutes, it's always nice to have people drop in, so thank you for that. Right, here we go, Sonoda.
Right, keep pushing. You're gaining on the car ahead.
No turn on bravery here, but maybe on the next lap I can do it. If I can just hold my nerve, maybe I can get there. Full race update.
16th, we got P16. Okay, that's Sonoda just ahead. Come on, push hard. Less than a second separates you. They're on a fresh set of wets. Okay, Zhu's behind you now. And the gap behind us is 1.3 seconds. They're on old wets. Okay, your pit window opens in 9 laps time. Okay, 28 laps to go.
Okay. Guan Yu Zhou to catch up. I'm losing time to Sonoda ahead here, which is unfortunate. Do some more of that overtake. Try and use that extra energy deployment to catch up. Further behind Sonoda than I was this time last lap, or this position last lap. Not happy with how that went. And Joe has managed to catch up. Teammate status.
Gap to your teammate ahead is 8.1 seconds. They're on old wets. They're in 9th place. Your last lap time was a 1 minute 36.6.
Driver behind.
Zhu behind. Okay, the gap is less than a second. They're on old wets. Their tyres are 8 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. And the time last lap was a 1:36.8.
This is requiring an awful lot of concentration. Getting closer to Sonoda on this lap. Thank God for that. Oh, too much power. It's so tempting. I think I was a little bit tentative that time, and the gap has increased. Damn it, it's so hard to judge. .4 seconds. 1.5 now to Sonoda. Really want to be closing that gap. I'm so tense, by the way. I keep clenching my butt cheeks and I'm holding my shoulders quite tightly. It's quite stressful, this. Brand new Joe is really closing up now.
And gap to the car in front is 1.7 seconds.
Need to get a better rhythm here. Let's try and catch up with Sonoda.
We're currently trailing our teammate by 8.1 seconds.
Fastest sector 3 though, so there's some hope here. Come on, let's get him. Fastest sector 1.
Information on Stroll. They've got an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
It's my fastest sector 2. It's not purple, so it's not fastest overall, but it's fast for me. I'll take that. Closer to Sonoda now. Just increasing the gap a little bit. See if we can make him sweat a little bit, force him into a mistake perhaps. Gonna have to get closer to him than that.
I definitely think we need to stay on this tyre a bit longer.
Oh, I agree.
No question, the track's drying. We might be in a position to change soon.
If we could switch from full wets to inters out of scheduled pit stop, that would be fantastic. Hold it together.
Be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future.
Light rain is better. Come on, let's get him. Sonoda.
Concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
Maybe 1/10 closer. Went deep into one. Funnily enough, got a good drive out by taking that deeper line, which has brought us closer to Sonoda. And whee! Except maybe not there, huh? Huh? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's make our way through here. Come on, let's get him. These tyres are starting to really show their age. Closer. By another 1/10 or two. Really got in tight there. That is a pass.
Nice move, good job.
15th. It's coming back. Schumacher next.
Okay, it's borderline, mate, but if I were you, I'd come in and change tyres. I'm just not sure we're on the right ones for these conditions anymore.
When is my pit stop due? That's what I need to know. So we'll be going long on the inters if that's the case. Way! No thanks. But it happened, it was all here, wasn't it? Yeah, these wets are actually close to being done. There's still such a long way to go. Yeah, pit window 17 to 25.
We're going to give you full wets in the next pit window, opening in 2 laps. Full wets in 2 laps time.
If it's light rain, do we swap to intermediates? Will they last us the rest of the race? Do I extend?
Okay, gap ahead is 2.2 seconds.
No, I think it's intermediates. I should be able to push on them a little bit more than I am on these old wets. I think I'm going to make the call. Lewis is in the pits, he's changing now.
Okay, Lewis is in for his stop.
Yeah, he's on inters. I'm going to do the same. Intermediates are selected. Now it's all about when to pit. Do we pit early? Is that the call? Lap 16. Box this lap.
Understood. Stopping this lap.
I think these wets are done.
There's a new strategy available on the MFD.
Yeah, they've just agreed.
Confirmed.
If Lewis is doing it, there are probably other cars doing it too. I can't tell what the leading cars are doing, but they may, especially if they're setting much faster laps.
ETA on this rain clearing up is about 10 minutes, so just keep your concentration out there.
If it's clearing up, then yeah, intermediates is right. Now the hope is here that I'm still one of the earlier ones to change, and I'll be ahead of others. Who have yet to change. Now, Lewis has dropped.
That was a fantastic stop.
Thank you.
Faster than we were expecting.
I can't park on the grid very well, but I can get my pit stops done right. So I've dropped again. Vettel's changed as well. Okay.
No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
Now I expect Vettel, if he's changed on the lap before me, will be very keen to catch and maybe pass me. I need to hold him behind because he's my benchmark right now. I've got to tell you, new intermediates feel a lot better than worn wets. Definitely feel faster on them. And I'm hoping to see cars ahead pull into the pits, and I'll be able to gain some positions. Lewis Hamilton, fastest lap. Stroll into the pits. Latifi's staying out. Right, let's see what the difference is on Latifi here.
Sonoda is stopping now.
Yeah, they're all changing for inters. So I think we made a good call. Arguably, maybe we could have done it one lap earlier, but I think it worked out well for us. Potential to make some places, but I need to keep Vettel behind me. Yeah, we're catching up on Latifi big time. That means as I struggle to pass him, Vettel closes up behind me. That solves that problem. P16. Latifi in the pits. Sensible. Latifi has also held Vettel back.
Car in front is 12.0 seconds.
15th place. Right, Mick Schumacher ahead. He's now on the intermediate tyres. Before this whole thing got shook up, he was the car I was chasing down, so it's back to normal. Hold it together, come on. Clunky sector 2 this time round. Losing time to Mick Schumacher ahead. The rain is definitely easing off now. How are we doing? We're closing the gap to Mick again, 1.8 seconds. Fastest sector 3, good job.
And we're still happy that we're on the right tyres at the moment.
This is where I need to get my act together. They're punching in nice fast laps there at the front. Bit of drifting. Ouch. .6.
Okay, gap to the car ahead is 1.5 seconds.
I think I'll get him in the next few laps. Lap 20 of 35. There's still a long way to go.
Increasing the gap on the car behind by 0.5 a lap.
Good. I don't really want to have to worry about Vettel giving me a hard time. I'll just drive over the grass.
Okay, looks like some of those puddles are clearing. We're still definitely on the right tyre for the time being, but we're probably not a million miles away from slick conditions.
I disagree. I may have to think about whether some of the cars are going to get lapped. I mean, I'd hope that wasn't the case, but it's a possibility. Not really closed in on Mick too much on this lap. I think I might have made a bit of a... Oh, Christ. I might have made a pig's ear of... I think it was there I made a mess of it. Right, let's pick it up from there. I'm losing too much time on that drive out.
We're catching the car ahead, well done, but be aware these tyres need to get us to the end of this race.
Come on, let's get this gap closed. 1.3 seconds. We're closer. 7/10. Alex Albon is ahead of him. Here we go, 4/10 now. Now we're getting there. Made some mistakes there. The gap's increased again.
Okay, here's some information on Latifi. Right, they've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
Is that going to be a safety car? Have they found themselves in a difficult situation? On track. Bigger gap to Schumacher ahead now. It's more than a second. And I've hit the grass as well, so that's a very bad end to that lap.
Okay, I think the track's going to be drying out quite soon. Be careful you don't burn out your tyres. Yellow flag.
This will be where Latifi's ended up, I guess. And green.
Okay, clear.
This track is getting quicker. I doubted the call to move over to softs, or dry tyres I should say, not softs in particular, but it's feeling more likely. Right, 8/10 to Mick Schumacher. A better lap that time.
It's borderline, mate, but if I were you, I'd come in and change tyres. I'm just not sure we're on the right ones for these conditions anymore.
That was rude.
You're increasing the gap on the car behind by 5/10 a lap.
I think that was a very rude overtake. P14. Oh, those cars ahead are going much, much faster.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Okay, here we go. This is it. This is the call. Medium tyres.
Copy.
We're coming in from lap 26. Lewis is in now. So he's changing over to the mediums. I'll be doing it on the following lap. I could probably done it on this lap, to be fair. Yeah, they're changing now. This is a push lap.
He's in the pits
This
now.
is a push lap. A lot of the cars are coming in now.
Box, we're coming in this lap.
This is an opportunity to try and get the overcut. I need to have a very tidy lap on these tyres. Treat it like qualifying. Here we go. Noticeable change in the track conditions over the last couple of laps.
Strategy available on the MFD.
They're going softs. Let's go softs. I'll take their lead. Those tyres won't last long, but they might give me some hope. Here we go. Our final pit stop of the race. Dry tyres. Moving on to the softs. I'm going to drop down some positions here. .11th.
Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy.
12th. 13th. Albon pitted ahead. Do I stay ahead of him? I've managed to overtake him.
DRS has been enabled. DRS is now...
Oh, okay, here we go. So, lap 27 to 35. We are now in dry racing conditions. DRS is also enabled. P13. The only issue I have is the next driver, Pierre Gasly, 7 seconds ahead. So this is now a defending race as opposed to an attacking one. And this could be where things fall apart. Because now in Sector 2, if I struggle and cars catch up, as they exit out here on this final turn, and the start-finish straight, they'll have DRS on me and they'll be able to overtake me, which is probably the story with Albon behind. But I am on soft tyres, and he's on the mediums, so I might be able to press the advantage. This has been a very interesting race. Much faster laps now. So, that's a 1:21.7. 1.5 seconds ahead of Albon, but Gasly is increasing the gap. I think 13th place is where I will be settling. But never say never, things can change. Noticeably faster now. This track is as close to dry as it could get, I think. Lap 29 to 35. Increasing the gap to Albon behind.
And gap to the car in front is 8.3 seconds.
Very unlikely to catch up with Pierre Gasly. Gap is increasing. zero that chicane. Full race update.
P13, you're currently in P13. That's Gasly ahead. Okay, gap ahead is 9.6 seconds. Okay, they're
Wow.
on old softs. Albon behind. Okay, the gap behind is 2.0 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
I think we may well be managing the grip on these soft tyres in the last lap or two. It's been a very interesting race, this. It's actually... I think it's actually been good. Dare I say it.
Our gap to the car in front is 9.5 seconds.
I think if I were dicing with the front runners, it would be a bit more of a depressing tale. But actually, starting at the back from the grid has given us something to fight for. Technically, I am, you know, underperforming with the car that I'm driving, but sometimes you have to tell a different story, and today is definitely one of those days. Plenty of fuel to use. It'll just be the tyres I have to worry about, I think. Yeah, loads of fuel left.
Okay, the car behind is dropping back. We're seeing a gap starting to form.
Gasly got past Magnussen. So now Magnussen is the car ahead. Teammate status.
Okay, the static over the radio. Say it again.
Teammate status.
Gap to your teammate ahead is 26.1 seconds.
Wowzers.
They're on old mediums. They're currently 6th. Time last lap was a 1 minute 20.9.
This is where we are. I'm increasing the gap.
Trailing our teammate by 27.0 seconds.
I'm increasing the gap to Albon behind. There's not much I'm doing about the cars ahead. Schumacher's just taken Albon.
That's our pass with 5 laps of fuel remaining. 5 laps of fuel left.
And only 2 laps of actual racing left. This is lap 34 of 35, the penultimate lap.
Okay, gap to the car ahead is 8.9 seconds.
With thanks to Nicholas Latifi's retirement, yeah, it was his, wasn't it? I'm 13th instead of 14th. Still doesn't pay us any points, but it's one louder. Get a bit scrappy there. Okay, final lap, here we go.
Okay, this is your final lap of the race.
So a surprising pole position was scored, which I then decided to sacrifice for a new ICE and a new MGU-H, which is a strategic play for later on in the season. It meant that I dropped down to last, starting in the rain, in the wet. Managed to actually get some battles in, which was very exciting. And we've gone from full wets to intermediates to soft tyres during the course of this race. The increase in pace was really noticeable. It was very challenging driving on the full wets in that rain at the beginning. So easy to slide around. The speed I'm driving at now is like insane compared to how this race started. So you know what? Might not have been amazing, but there was plenty of challenge, and I quite appreciated that. And of course, I have a fresh ICE and a fresh MGU-H, which I can use for the rest of the season.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
There'll be smiles at the factory after that one. A great race and a real team performance to take victory here in Hungary. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, tyre management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So, being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls, gentle on the tyres, that's where the race was won today.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit, familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again.
Oh, I win a helmet. Lovely. What a day.
So let's review the updated drivers' standings. Charles Leclerc's points today take him to the top of the championship standings. Let's focus on driver of the day, Natalie Pinkham. Come on, who do you pick?
Come on.
It's got to be Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he pulled off some impressive feats out there on track today, even by his high standards.
What about me?
Time to check out the constructors' standings. Ferrari continue to extend the gap at the top of the table. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
Wow. That was full on. From third on the grid, Charles Leclerc takes the win and fastest lap. 26 points for him. Max Verstappen starts second, finishes second. Carlos Sainz started first, dropped back 2 places. Sergio Perez and Lando Norris stay exactly where they are. Lewis Hamilton started 11th after taking a grid penalty. Managed to wind his way up to 6th place with potentially some early tyre changes helping him along the way. Here's the thing though, right? Lewis Hamilton, multi-time world champion, and my teammate, he made 5 positions. I made more than that. Why aren't I the driver of the day? I think I probably made the most positions out of anybody in this race. Me, this guy. Anyone else do such a good job? I don't think so. Latifi, DNF. Lance Stroll dropped. Guan Yu Zhou dropped. Yuki Tsunoda up 1 place. Pierre Gasly up 2 places. Me up 7 places. Lewis, 5. Just saying. And it looks like 2 pit stops was the way, so we all at some point went from wets to intermediates, from intermediates to dry. Some people went on the mediums, some people went on the softs. Very responsive to the strategy calls made by the team. Happy to go along with their suggestions. I believe it helped. Definitely in terms of the initial instinct of running a little bit longer on the full wets and then changing to inters didn't make sense. You could feel the track condition change. You could feel those full wet tyres struggling to find that grip as they were wearing away. It was the right time to change to intermediates. So, yes, it wasn't starting at the front. But let's have a look at my fastest lap time, okay? Just to give you an idea of what we might have been dealing with today. My fastest lap time, a 1:20.950. Alonso, marginally faster. Sergio Perez, marginally faster. But my teammate Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, and especially Verstappen and Leclerc, several tenths quicker, and that's their fastest laps. So I continue to argue, had I been at the front, they would have been consistently faster than me lap by lap, and they would have been overtaking me. And that would have been a different kind of race altogether. From here, I've been able to make probably as many positions as I would have lost if I started at the front. I had something to fight for here. Pass cars. Keep them behind you. Don't let them get the position back. And that I managed to do. So let's take a look at the highlights. Could be a bit wild, including a couple of cheeky overtakes there. I kind of bullied my way through. I wonder if the highlights will pick this up. So from the back of the grid here, a little bit of wheel spin as I pulled away. So I struggled a bit. So the clear gap between me and Latifi. Pulling in. Just holding the line behind here. No heroics on the first lap. Turn 2. Good drive out of 2. Closing that gap to Latifi. Squeezed him a bit at turn 11. And then bully myself past Stroll on 12. I think that was 12. And then over to lap 4. What's going on here then? We're still on the full wets. A sexy slow-mo. With Lance Stroll behind and Sebastian Vettel ahead. I'm chasing down Vettel at the moment. Here we go, still on the full wets. This is lap 14. And that's Yuki Tsunoda ahead. I spook him. Absolutely spook him on braking. This is after we've moved on to the intermediate tyres. Yeah, that was ruthless. Lap 23. Still on the inters. How are things looking here? Any mistakes? Is that what we're watching? No? But maybe chasing somebody down. This is Mick Schumacher. I mean, I didn't make contact, but I pretty much cut that corner. And then soft tyres and away we go. Didn't quite get everything. Didn't quite get every overtake in those highlight packages, but we got enough. I think we got enough. So, as you can see, a lot of whiz and whim in the tyre section. Pretty much everybody there. Wets to intermediates to dries. Lewis Hamilton went on the mediums. Surprising. I thought it would have gone on softs. Quite a few of the drivers there did. Those who were on mediums, Lewis made it work. No one else really did. Softs gave you a bit more of a chance, but you would need to manage them in the last couple of laps, so you'd have to kind of secure your position early on. But as you would have seen, once the change to the softs happened, the cars of Gasly and Magnussen were so much further ahead. There was no way in the last like 6 or 7 laps I was going to be able to close a 8-9 second gap. On the incident front, collision with Guan Yu Zhou on lap 7. That's when I don't think we covered that one actually in the highlights, but that's basically when I bullied my way past. Lots of collisions otherwise on that first lap. No doubt at turn 1. Fernando Alonso and Lando Norris had it coming together, and the 2 Haas teammates also. And of course, Nicholas Latifi with a mechanical failure, the only car not to finish this race. So, to the standings. No points for me. A decent amount of points for Perez and Norris means that I'm going to be dropping back in the standings. No points for me today. That makes it harder to catch up with Perez, who's now 8 points ahead. So, I dropped from 6th to 7th. Sergio Perez is back in 6th. Lewis Hamilton has dropped from 3rd to 4th. So it's actually 1-2 Leclerc and Verstappen, changing positions again, it is very close between those two. So that drama will continue. Sainz and Hamilton also very close. So they have a battle on their hands. Whereas I'm looking to chase down Sergio Perez and Lando Norris. It looks like the ultimate achievement for me in the driver's standings this year is to get to 5th. So, I mean, top 6 is my goal. Lando Norris has complicated matters somewhat, which sort of turns it into a top 7, to be fair. But maybe taking that little gamble today will mean that I have fresher components for a race in the future where things could really make the difference. Where, for example, a race win and a fastest lap would give me 26 points and make a dent in the fates of Sergio Perez and Lando Norris. In the constructors' standings, no changes. Ferrari still in the lead, quite comfortably in the lead there, 55 points ahead of Red Bull. And Mercedes-AMG Petronas, my team, are on an island all by themselves in 3rd place. McLaren some distance back. Williams have yet to score any constructors' points this season. And that's your lot. That's the Hungarian Grand Prix right there. Not a blaze of glory, not points hunting, but considering the circumstance I put myself in, I'll take a 13th place. Unfortunately, no one gambled on it. We had bets on a race win, and also positions 2 to 12. How close then? Finishing in 13th was, but no one threw in a cheeky engagement or two into 13 to 18. So KLF style, we've just burnt a whole bunch of engagements there. Let's advance. Perez just pipped me there, 4 to 3. But I am now only 2 points away from claiming that rivalry. Small little increase to driver acclaim. And away we go. And wouldn't you know it, yet another department requires my attention. Here on Monday, the 1st of August, the marketing department has requested my attendance at today's meeting to help them resolve an issue. Now, look at that calendar of events there on the left-hand side of your screen. Monday was first, a department event. On the 2nd, we're going to find out the fate of 2 upgrades. Will they be successful? And then you'll notice the season break officially begins on the 5th, during which time no work can happen. So I'm going to withhold decisions on where to spend development points until I know the outcome of the control electronics, improved materials, and the fuel injection system in brackets efficiency. I know it's very tense, isn't it? Yep, I can tell you're jittering with excitement. Let's see what the marketing department want. Well, look at that. The charity work was a hit and generated some great exposure. If you remember, that was a decision that we made last week, thinking that actually you kind of hit a few different things on the head if you do charity work, and 500 driver acclaim points have been received. Good stuff. Let's see what happens They're both successful. Yes, man.
Our new parts have completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
That's good to see. So, before we decide to start this season break, let's have a look at the R&D. And morale is increasing in the aerodynamics and powertrain departments. That's nice to see. Chassis and durability are normal. So the research and development that is in progress and will be delivered after the summer break, hopefully successfully, we shall see. The energy recovery system, energy store cells, the drag reduction on the side pod profile, and weight reduction on the nose cone structure. Two of those are major. We've got points to spend. These things that will not happen during the season break, but we can get them queued up. We can make these decisions and get them queued up. Let's see what's recommended. Actually, first, we'll see what's been done. Fuel injection system has been completed, and that'll unlock a new upgrade. And it's the reshaped combustion chamber, which is actually recommended to us. Now, morale is high here. So they're more likely to succeed. Control electronics improved materials has been completed on durability, which has unlocked something new. Just to remind myself what's happening here. So powertrain is on minor, and aero and chassis are on major. I wouldn't want to throw too much more at aero and chassis if their hands are full on major work. Powertrain, maybe you could put another minor alongside that and it wouldn't be so bad. So we could do powertrain, and then I would be thinking about durability. So the recommendation here is the reshaped combustion chamber. It's minor, so that works out quite nicely. It's for fuel efficiency. An adjustment to the combustion chamber alters the pressure and temperature inside, allowing for a more fuel-efficient combustion process. The expected time frame, 29th of August to the 1st of September, so that will be just after the Belgian Grand Prix. And that's 1,000 points. Now, let's come over to durability. Energy store, improved materials, ICE reliability testing. I want that too, right? MGUH reliability testing, that's going to be important. So if I'm going to make decisions here, let's go with the reshaped combustion chamber. I think that's the only thing we can actually go for. Yeah, and that's 1,000. So let's get back that baked in. That with the standard is a 19% chance of failure. Let's take that risk. Risk taken. Next up. Reliability testing. It's major. It'll be the only thing that we give durability to do. So all ICE components will be more resistant to wear. Similar time frame. But it'll be between the Netherlands and Italy. And you can see there that our durability is kind of level with Red Bull. And if this goes through successfully, that'll put us alongside Ferrari. I believe that is the is that recommended upgrade as well? Let me just get that confirmed here. Actually, there isn't anything else recommended to me. The other option would be Energy Store, which hasn't even started. I've been talking about the ICE a lot, though. But you know what? Where are we on the Energy Store? Let's just check that out real quick. We're on the 2nd. I guess none of these things really work unless you fit an additional component. That's the problem with the ICE and the MGUH now. I've got another one in rotation. I'm going to put 3 and 3 back in. And leave 4 in the chamber for another time. They've done enough, haven't they? That's the question, isn't it? On durability, if you've already fitted the parts, then their performance wouldn't improve. Unless they magically do, I don't know. I mean, it says it would. You know what? Let's get started on the Energy Store then, as that is the only one which has yet to have anything in it. And maybe I can think about the reliability testing on the ICE another time. So that's minor, and that was major. Yeah. I think we need to start this one. Let's get that booked in. It doesn't put us level with Ferrari. It'll be ready after Belgium. But maybe it'll help. So let's get that booked in. Yeah, there we go, done. And that's definitely it. So that'll be energy recovery system, side pod profile, nose cone, energy store, fuel efficiency, lots to keep the team busy. And some of that we will find out about after the season break. Let's hit that season break. And here we go. The season break has happened. And we are at the 20th of August. We can see energy store sales and the side pod profile are ready and waiting for the week coming. Are they successful? Yes. And yes. This is looking very good.
The new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
Excellent stuff. That's very exciting, actually. I was worried that maybe something would fail. So that leaves us with those 3 left to be completed basically the week after the Belgian Grand Prix. It's a bit exciting, actually. Looking forward to that. So, the Hungarian Grand Prix weekend, an interesting experiment, I guess, has been completed. Not my strongest circuit, but managed to make something out of the race, which is nice to see. The season break is done, so we're in the second half of the F1 22 season. And would it surprise you if I told you that Spa-Francorchamps is my favourite circuit? Probably wouldn't, would it? And that is where we are going for the Belgian Grand Prix. It's a fast-flowing, long circuit. Changes in elevation, some classic corners. And I'm hoping it's going to deliver success for Skip and the Mercedes team. Very, very hopeful for next week's race. Oh, thanks very much, people. Thanks, chat. 5 saying, not my worst either. Correct, it wasn't a DNF. And it also wasn't Monaco. Now, the commentator Alex Jakes in the pre-race said it's like Monaco but without the harbour. And I can kind of see where he's coming from. Because especially when you start getting into the tricky left-right flicks and the chicanes and stuff around Sector 2, there isn't a great deal of runoff. And if you mess up, it can be quite punishing. So no, not. I think in terms of like positions gained, that's a pretty good race. It wasn't a point scorer, but it was nice to have a race where we could move forward instead of one where we drop back. Gleefam thinks I've been hard on myself. Maybe I have. I don't know. I think what this has in common with Monaco and to a lesser extent Azerbaijan is that there are points in the circuit which are blind spots, and it would take so much more practice than one evening to perfect the rhythm of the lap. There are definitely points where I'm very comfortable, I can do this. Even turn 4, to be honest, that blind left-hander, I'm actually quite comfortable with. But there are others which are just confusing to me. But thank you. And thanks everybody for hanging out for another evening of F1 22. Thank you in particular to those of you who got involved in the poll that I ignored and the predictions. Greatly appreciated there. But that is it for F1 22 this evening. If you want to see the Belgian Grand Prix, then come and join me next Sunday, the same time, 5:30 p.m. UK time, where we will do the whole thing all over again, just in Belgium. Well, actually, in this room. I won't be going physically to Belgium and streaming from there. Still a video game. But we will do the whole thing. We will have that Pirelli Hot Lap. We will have the practice sessions. We will have the one-shot qualifying. And we will have a 50% distance race. All of that then, coming up this time next week, Sunday, 5:30 p.m. UK time. Please do join in that. It would be nice of you.